All right, guys, we're working on the van. We're gonna throw it over here in the school shop because it's got a little bit more room without a lift in it. As you saw from last night, we got the trans in the van, drove it around a bit, and we started getting a mysterious ticking noise. So we're gonna pull her in here, see if we can separate that from engine or transmission ticking, and then from there figure out what it is. So let's clean this place up. All right, guys, we got the van in the shop. I think we have the trans pretty much dialed. We'll check the fluid again in another couple miles, but right now we're getting things like our electric fans working so it doesn't have any troubles with overheating. We're probably going to wire up some little old lights to the front. What else are we doing, George? What else are we doing?
Temp gauge.
Oh, trans temp gauge. See if we can make that work. A bunch of miscellaneous wiring stuff. So let's get into it. All right, so we've got a starter relay or solenoid mounted up here. This is going to end up being our fan controller to switch it on and off. So we're not switching that huge power just through a normal switch. That's the signal out to the fan, working right now to get the power run, and then that'll be the power signal, and it grounds through the body. That'll be run to a switch inside. I'm also making up a wiring harness for a relay for some lights. And George is inside trying to get that transmission temperature sensor out. Got the whole inside pulled apart, and how's it going?
One more bolt.
All right.
No!
All right, guys, we're calling it a night. We got some wires run. Fans are working. I'll show you that in the morning. We got to get this out and get the truck back in here. Had a little bit of a short accidentally because of some old live wires. Had to chase down a fuse because we lost a bunch of stuff. So tomorrow we'll get lights figured out and get to testing that gauge. So, see you in the morning. All right, guys, night 2 working on the van. We got to roll the 7.3 plow truck out so we can get the van back in here. Alright, guys, we got one of the lights mounted, just a set of old CB pods my dad had. And then this one, we snapped the bolt off, so I cut it off. We're going to weld on this guy so that we can thread it back on. Alright, we got the light fixed. Now, conveniently, this bumper already had these holes drilled in it, so we used it to mount them, and then we'll run the wire up through these holes behind it. That should be fairly clean. So we'll get this thing mounted on here. Alright, guys, we got the lights wired in and the relays and all that stuff, and the switches inside here all connected. Baby. So, in theory, this all works. So our glow plugs still work. Yep, glow plugs still work. Fans work. Now for the fun one. George, you want to flip the light switch on?
Sure.
Go for it. We have no lights. Okay, we'll have to troubleshoot that one. Alright, we figured out why the lights don't have power. You see that down there? That's not connected. That would do it. Alright, try the lights now, George. You shouldn't have to turn the key on for them to work. Yep, they work. Sweet, the CB light pods live on in another vehicle yet again. And we got all the lights. That is going to look mean. Guys, we took the trim panel here. It was already notched for a temperature gauge. Put these holes in it with a Dremel and just a drywall bit. I was hoping to use one of the little cutoff wheels, but I didn't actually have one. So we'll get this thing stuck in here and show you how it looks. All right, here's what we got going on. We relocated the switches. They used to all be down here. Well, there used to only be one of them, but it was down there. Relocated them up here to this trim piece. Looks pretty clean. That's where the trans temp gauge goes. We're pretty sure the trans temp gauge is... They're probably behind me somewhere. The trans temp gauge is bad.